and welcome to a new video. So today I'm going to be talking about all the books I am planning to read in February, and I have quite an exciting TBR. However, I will definitely be mood reading a lot throughout February because I feel like it's just the thing I need right now, because I feel like my mood when it comes to reading right now is kind of all over the place. So in order to make sure I actually read, I think I will mood read. But I have put a list of books together that I think I kind of want to read in February. So some of the books that are in this pile I'm planning to read for a 48-hour readathon I'm doing with my patrons in the middle of the month, which I'm very excited about. It's going to be so much fun, and I think I'm going to do the timer method so that I do actually read for 48 hours. So I will be vlogging that. But yeah, let's just get straight into the video. So because it is the month of Valentine's Day, I of course had to include a lot of romance on here. So we do have several romance books to talk about. First one we have is Virtual Strangers by Sam Canning. So I was recently sent this from the publisher, and this one on the back says it's a modern You've Got Mail meets the Fletcher. And this one sounds like such a fun little romance, and I'm really excited. So in this we follow Ada, and she sets up a kind of PR firm from this coffee shop. She works there day in day out, and there's also this guy, I think he's a journalist, and he's called Fraser, and he also works in this coffee shop all the time, and they have slowly become friends and gotten to know each other. And Fraser actually writes about like nice and interesting things you can do around Edinburgh, which is where they live, and Ada ends up accompanying him on several of these like little trips, and obviously through that they do build a kind of connection. So obviously an attraction starts to go there, but Ada has been messaging this guy she met on an Agatha Christie fan site, and obviously she's very interested in him, but I think maybe our journalist Fraser could be that guy. So I really love this trope in books, and I think it's gonna be so fun. So it says here, Ada is torn between Fraser and Mr. E, but can you have real feelings for someone when you're virtual strangers? So yeah, this sounds so fun. I like it when romance books do mix like technology as well, and I just think this is gonna be such a fun time. I can't wait to read this. So yeah, hopefully I do get to it during February. Then this next one is Authentically Izzy by Pepper Basham. This is a bookish rom-com, and I was recently sent this by the publisher, although this did already come out in November. And look how cute the formatting is. Like, it's told in like emails and stuff. In this we have a long distance kind of, not necessarily relationship, but almost crush, I guess. So our main character is obsessed with coffee, tea and books, which is just me. And our main character met this guy who she calls her Mr. Right on this bookish website, but he lives all the way across the ocean. His name is Brody. But then we have this professor called Eli, who's also an author, who's kind of walked into her life in this small town that she lives in. And this author also asked her out for coffee. And yeah, it goes from there. So I suspect this is like the previous book I talked about. I think they could be the same guy, but who knows. But either way, this is a bookish romance. I think it's gonna be so fun, and this cover is also absolutely adorable. This next one is by Amy Lee, and this is X's and O's. I'm obsessed with this really cute hardcover edition. I recently got my Illumicrate Afterlight subscription, and yeah, I can't wait to read this one. So I'll read the synopsis to you guys. Tara Chen has had her heart broken 10 times by 10 different men. Nevertheless, she is still determined to find her perfect match. The only problem, Tara is a romance novel obsessive, and her standards are sky high. Modern dating apps have killed the meet cute, so Tara decides to revisit her exes, all 10 of them, in the hope of finding her very own trope-worthy second chance romance. And every heroine needs a sidekick, so she enlists her new flatmate, firefighter Trevor. Trevor Metcalf is the first to rush into a burning building, but the last to rush into a relationship. Love just isn't his thing, but the more time they spend together, the more Trevor appreciates Tara's authentic, dramatic self. Can they break the habits of a lifetime and give their spark a chance? So yeah, this sounds really cute, and I'm really excited to give this one a read. I've heard very good things about it, and I just think it'll be a nice fun little romance to read during Valentine's. And yeah, I love the cover as well. It's just really cute. So this next book is actually a book that is on my 23 books for 2023 list, and that is Booked on a Feeling by JC Lee. This is another bookish romance, and I just love a romance that involves books. It's my favorite thing. And in this we follow Lizzie Chung, and she is a lawyer, and she has a really bad panic attack during like this pivotal moment in her career. It kind of derails everything and all of her plans, and she decides she needs like some time to recharge. So she goes to this small town town in California where her best friend Jack Park lives, who obviously she was best friends with growing up. So this is like a second chance romance, like best friend romance. And it says here that now Lizzie is back, Jack has 3 weeks to spend with the girl of his dreams while concealing his decades-long crush on her, something that becomes increasingly difficult when he agrees to help Lizzie revamp the local bookstore. Romance amongst the dusty shelves and books may not be Lizzie's plan, but could this new page lead her to the love story she never expected? So yeah, this one's so cute, like a bookshop as well. Like, yes please, cannot wait to read this one. I feel like I'm gonna love this and I'm just so excited about it. So this next book I think I did talk about already in my previous TBR, and that is Tessa Bailey's Secretly Yours. This comes out on the 23rd of February and I was very kindly sent an ARC. I did briefly start this last month but realised I wasn't really in the mood for a romance, but I was enjoying what I'd read so far. It's a romance between a professor and a gardener essentially. So we have our main character who's had a crush on this guy for a long time, and she is a gardener in this small town, and she finds out that he has returned to town all these years later. She's not seen him for a long time, so she gets a job on his parents' estate as their gardener, where he is currently staying trying to write a novel. And he is not the guy she remembered. He's very grumpy and cold, and she is not the girl that he remembered because she is all grown up now and beautiful and everything. And yeah, I think they both do secretly have a crush on each other, but neither of them know, and they are kind of forced to kind of be, well, it's kind of like forced proximity, and yeah, there we have it. So I'm really excited for this. I really do enjoy Tessa Bailey's romances for the most part. They're kind of hit and miss. Her traditionally published ones I tend to enjoy more, so I am excited for this one, and I feel like February will be the perfect time for me to read this, and hopefully it is really, really fun. Next we have a fantasy romance, of course. Again, I might end up picking up other ones, but these are the ones that I've got my eye on currently. So we have The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This is the sequel to Once Upon a Broken Heart, which I reread in January. I gave that 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. It is such an incredible piece of storytelling. I love it. I don't even know what it is exactly about the book, but it's just such an incredible like fantasy book. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it. I have not read Caraval, but I think you will be fine to read it without having read Caraval. But this is the sequel. So obviously in this we're following Evangeline and Jax, and Jax is the Prince of Hearts, and the lore behind Jax is that every girl he kisses will die except for his true love. And then we have Evangeline, who is the kind of key to unlock doors, let's say. So yes, it's very, very good, and I'm excited to see what happens in the next book. And I did briefly start this. I'm only 20 pages in, but I do plan to read this during February, and I can't wait. I'm predicting 5 stars, and I've heard the ending kind of ends quite abruptly, so I'm kind of scared but excited. So next we have A Dance with the Fate Prince by Elise Kova. So I read A Deal with the Elf King, I think in January or February last year, and I did really enjoy it. It was just a super fun fantasy romance. It's very kind of like basic in the sense that it's nothing really new, but it's just fun. I think these are Kindle Unlimited books as well, but I've had this one on my shelf for a while. It's a standalone, but it's part of the like A Married to Magic novel series, which has like the forced marriage trope in there and stuff like that. So yeah, in this one it's a Fae Prince and I think a human girl. And it says here, A Dance with the Fae Prince is a complete standalone novel inspired by the tales of Psyche and Eros, as well as Cinderella, with a happily ever after ending. It's perfect for romantic fantasy readers who enjoyed A Court of Silver Flames and Enchantment of Ravens. A Dance with the Fae Prince features a slow burn romance, swoon-worthy couple, and steaminess that ranges from simmering to sizzling. So I'm very, very excited about this one. I just feel like this will be a nice fun read, and I might pick this up during a readathon because it is really fun and fast paced, and yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one. I hope I enjoy this more than the other one. So next we have Katie Roberts' The Demon's Bargain. This is like more of a novella. It's very, very short. I'm excited to read this. It's a deal with a demon novel, and this is just a really, really short fantasy romance. I'm putting this on my TBR because I'm planning to read it during my 48-hour readathon. So obviously this is perfect because it's short, and I really like short stories sometimes. And this is set on Samhain, which is another thing I really, really liked about it. So yeah, I don't know much about it, but I think I'll keep it that way just because it's such a short book. I feel like if I read the synopsis, it's probably going to tell me exactly like what the whole plot is, because I mean this is less than 100 pages, so I'm not going to read into it. All I know is it's fantasy romance, and it's Katie Roberts, and she always writes really good fantasy romance, so we'll leave it at that. So next we have my Patreon buddy read book of the month for February, which I'm very excited about, and that is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. So I've spoken about this in quite a few videos video, so I'm not going to go into it too much. But essentially we have this girl who is researching fairies and writing an encyclopedia, and then we have her academic rival who's called Wendell, and then she wants to unravel the mystery of Wendell. Who is he? Why is he here? And obviously they do start to develop a romance. So yeah, we have fairies and romance and rivals, and it just sounds really fun. I'm very excited to read this. I will be filming a spoiler filled reading vlog for my Patreon, so we are reading this as a buddy read, so if you do want to join us you can head to my Patreon down below. But yeah, very excited for this one. I've heard very good things, and I think it's just going to be a really nice cozy romance book to read during February, and yeah, very excited. And speaking of rivals to lovers, we also have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, who is the author who wrote River Enchanted. So this one I don't know tons about, but it says on the back, rival journalists, secret letters, and one magical connection. So I'm very excited about this one. It says here, when two young rival journalists find love through a magical connection, they must face the depths of hell in a war among gods to seal their fate forever. That just sounds like it was written for me. Very excited, cannot wait to read it. Also, this arc is absolutely gorgeous. I am ecstatic to have this in my hands, cannot wait to read it. I think I'm gonna love this, and yeah, let's hope it's 5 stars. So then I have these two books. So I have a non-fiction and a thriller. So I have this YA, a murder mystery thriller, which is the second book in the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. This is Good Girl Bad Blood. This one is also on my 23 books for 2023 list. I think maybe some of those other books I've talked about were also on that list, but I can't remember. But I know that this one is, so I intend to finish the trilogy for this year, because it is one of my reading goals. I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder last year. I will link the vlog up here when I read it. I really enjoyed it. It was such a fun murder mystery, and I really want to continue on with the series and obviously finish it. So I figured I would try and read it early on in this year and put the second one on my list. I believe in this one our main character now has a podcast, and then there's some kind of murder in her town that she has to solve, or a missing boy or something. So again, it's another kind of mystery, but I just really like the first one, so I'm really excited to see what happens in this one. And yeah, okay. And then my non-fiction book, which I probably don't read all of, I think I'll just dip in and out of, is Ashes and Stones by Alison Shaw, and it says a Scottish journey in search of witches and witness. So this is basically a book that's all about journeying across the coast and remote villages of Scotland and talking about all the witchcraft history that is there. I'm very excited because I do have Scottish heritage and I'm interested in anything to do with witchcraft, so I feel like both of those things combined, it's just going to be such a fun and interesting book, and I'm really excited to give it a read. So yeah, I will hopefully be dipping into this one during February, and also this cover is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so the rest of my TBR is manga and graphic novels. Now, if you've watched my recent vlog and just anything I've put out recently, I am currently in my manga and anime era again. I cannot get enough of manga. That's all I've been reading, especially when I was sick during the month of January. I was just reading manga. So I've put a small amount on my TBR, but realistically I'm going to read so much more than that. But yeah, I didn't want to make this too long with all of the manga, so I've just got a few to talk about and a graphic novel. So the graphic novel I'm planning to read is The Girl from the Sea, and this is a sapphic romance, I believe. I'm really excited to read this. I bought this when I was with some friends in London last year, and I just think it's gonna be so cute. I love the art style as well. I don't know tons about it, but it's supposed to be adorable, and I figured this would be perfect again to put on my 48-hour readathon TBR, and to read a nice, like, romantic, cute little graphic novel during February. So very excited to finally read this one, and yeah, hopefully the stories are really fun. Okay, so now we have all of this manga, but like I said, I'm probably going to pick up a lot of other manga too. The first one I have is Black Paradox by Junji Ito. This is one of his most recent releases, and I actually don't know anything about the premise for this book. I have not actually looked. I really enjoy most of Junji Ito's books, and I haven't read any for a while, but I recently picked this up and figured I'd put it on my TBR because it is quite short and I could squeeze this in during my readathon. And yeah, I literally have no idea what it's about, but I don't need to. All I know is that it's going to be very messed up and it's horror. That's pretty much all I need to know. I will always just read anything Junji Ito writes, so I'm very excited. And this cover, I don't know why, but I love it. It's just really cool. Okay, so next we have every volume of Spy X Family. So I am almost finished reading volume 1 currently, but I do want to read all of the other volumes that are currently out. So I have volumes 2 through 8 here. So I recently finished the anime for this, and I honestly loved it. It was so funny, so wholesome, just so good. Like, it's such a nice anime. Like, The way I would describe this is like a warm hug, like that's what it feels like. And obviously I really want to read the manga now, so I have decided to put on my TBR because yeah, I need something else. Like I don't know when season 2 is going to be out, so the manga will have to fill like the hole in my heart that it's left. So I'm very, very excited to give this a read, and I feel like I'm gonna love it. It's basically about this family. So we have our main character Anya, who is a telepath, but nobody knows. We have our spy called Twilight, who's also known as Lloyd, and then we have Anya's acting mother, who is called Yor. So basically our spy is in a different country trying to prevent war, and part of his disguise is that he needs to have a family. He needs to have a child and a wife and try and get her into this prestigious school where his target's son is also attending, so he can interact with the target and find out intel. So he ends up adopting Anya from this orphanage, not knowing she's a telepath, and then he bumps into this woman called Yor, who he doesn't know is actually a highly trained professional assassin. And they are a fake family together, hiding their real identities from each other. However, because Anya can read minds, she knows who both of them really are. So it's really, really funny, and it's just so good. I absolutely love it, and I really hope that we get like a really good found family ending in this manga, and that there's also a romance in here, because I feel like that would work really, really well for the plot, and so much could be developed with it. So I am really, really excited for the rest of the volumes to come out, but this is all that is out so far, and I'm so excited to read it. But I would highly recommend the anime if you're looking for something that's nice and wholesome but also funny and has action. This is definitely a series for you. So yeah, I will be reading all of these volumes. Then of course, because it is the month of love, I am going to put this manga on my TBR. However, I may read lots of my other romance manga because I do own a lot, but I don't know which series I want to read yet. But I definitely want to read this because it's an omnibus of like all of the volumes, like a complete collection. So I figured this one is perfect to put on there, and that is Love in Focus, and this is by Yoko Nagiri. And this one says it's a sweet and charming romance about a girl finding her way from the creator of That Wolf Boy Is Mine. So I do also own That Wolf Boy Is Mine, so if I enjoy this, I will definitely pick that up too. But yeah, I think the main character is a photographer. I think we have a love triangle, and yeah, it's just supposed to be a really cute and wholesome romance. So I don't know how many volumes exactly are in here, but it is the complete collection of the entire manga, so I will be reading all of this. And I think this one, again, I'll probably redraw my readathon, but I'm so excited because I've been meaning to read this for so long now, and I love the cover and like the style of the art as well. I just think it's going to be so fun. Like, oh, I'm just so excited. So yeah, this is on my TBR for sure. And then the last manga I will definitely be getting to during February is Attack on Titan. So Attack on Titan's what's reignited my manga obsession again. So I've read volumes 1 through 10 so far during January. I'm currently on volume 11. And then I need to read volume 12. So I'm on the, I think this is the 4th or 5th omnibus. I think the 4th one. So I have this omnibus, and then I'm also going to read these two. So I have volumes 13 through 15 and 16 through 18. So I do plan to read all of these, and then potentially once I finish them, I will pick up the next omnibuses and read those as well. I am just loving this manga and anime so much. It is so freaking good. I'm obsessed with Levi. Like, let me just show you something. Like, I am obsessed with Levi. I just had to show my t-shirt. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to continue on reading this series. I don't really know how to describe it. It's a guy versus titans is all I can say without giving spoilers. But if you're looking for a series that is gut-wrenching, is full of action, plot twists, complex characters, and really cool world building, then this is definitely a series for you. It's definitely not for the light-hearted. It's definitely gruesome at times, gory, and really intense, and it does put you through it, but it's truly an incredible series, and I love it so much. So I'm very, very excited to continue reading it, and I'm hoping I will get through all of them, and hopefully some other omnibuses as well. But that kind of concludes my TBR currently. Hopefully I do get to a lot of these, but like I said, I am going to mood read and just read whatever I feel like, because I feel like that's the best thing for me to do to get the most out of the month when it comes to how many books I get through. I didn't read as much as I wanted to in January because I did get sick and quite busy, so I just didn't feel like or have time to read that much. So I definitely want to change that in February and read a lot, and hopefully my 48-hour readathon will get me through quite a few books as well. But you guys will see whatever I decide to read throughout my reading vlogs during February, so do keep an eye out for those as well. Let me know in the comments what you're planning to read in February, or if you have read any of the books I have mentioned, let me know your thoughts on them and what you rated them. And also don't forget to leave any recommendations for any books you think I would enjoy. I always love seeing the recommendations you guys leave in the comments. Feel free to chat in the comments about any books you like, and also if you made it to the end of this video, leave a nice romance or love related emoji in the comments, and don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. I will leave anything I've mentioned linked down below in the description box, along with the link to my Patreon, and that's where you'll find extra content from me, such as our monthly buddy read, our monthly readathon, our Discord, live shows, extra videos, early access, so much more. It's all over on my Patreon, and I would love to have you there. If you wanted to join me there, you will find that down below. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're all safe and well. I hope you're reading lots of good books, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Thank you.